Grayson is having trouble mostly just laying ideas generally overall. Okay. So what are some things that you guys do when you feel like you're having trouble coming up with good ideas? When you sit down and maybe you're just like already discouraged about a lack of ideas, for example. What are some things we can do to get past that initial friction? No, but like even just as a thought exercise, like outside of the context of working on music, like what would be a good thing? What has worked for you in the past? Because I'm sure you've found something in the past that has worked, that gets you past the like initial, oh fuck, what do I do? Resting for a bit. I'm sure you got to clear your head, right? You can't create authentically if you're like already down on yourself, right? Or if you're already doubting yourself, creativity cannot enter the chat. It's just how it works. It cannot happen. You have to be able to have fun. One thing I really like to do is promise myself the third beat is going to be the best, is going to be good. So I'll sit down and I'll be like, all right, okay, first of all, I'll set a timer. You know, I'll grab this thing and I'll be like, all right, let me give myself 2 hours. If I have 2 hours, right? Ideally, on a given day, I give myself at least 2 hours to make music. So I have 2 hours and I'm just going to say, you know what? I'm going to make 3 beats and the third one's going to be good. But I got to make 2 shitty ones first. I love that shit. It all, like, for some reason, it might not work for everybody, but that shit always gets me thinking in the right headspace because I know I'm going to come up with some trash. I do this on stream half the time. Like, fortunately, I've been making a little bit of music, so I'm like kind of in the flow state already. Just like every day I've been making beats. But like sometimes I come down, I'm cold from a weekend of not making music. And I get on stream and I make booty, like ass music, just garbage, like shit I am embarrassed to have out there. But it's part of the process. And I know at this point that if I push through usually just 2, the second or third one will work. Maybe the fourth one. I don't know. That's a fun one. That's a fun little mentality. Just like, I'm going to shit out 2 absolutely garbage beats. By the time I get to the third one, it'll probably be all right. It's like greasing the wheels. Like, I don't know. What's a good metaphor for that? You're going to the gym. You don't just want to start exercising without stretching, without getting your blood flowing, without doing a little bit of light cardio. Like, you can't just expect your body to work perfectly if you don't like feed it the right nutrients, right? And get the blood flowing, get your heart rate up. All those things need to be in place in order for you to maximize what it is that you get out of your workout session, or in this case, in this analogy, your creative session, you know? So do some stretches, recognize that you might actually kind of blow it on the first couple exercises because maybe it's just been a while. Maybe you're coming back after 2 to 3 weeks of not being at the gym, you know? You're out of your routine. You got to get back in your routine. The only way to get back into your routine is to just accept that you're going to be a little bit sloppy, you know? It's fine. That happens. It's going to be shit. You're going to make some shitty music. Gotta get past that. Because everyone will. Del Ply says, a lot of times I get stuck in a loop where I like a song I'm working on, but then after listening to it 900 times, it's easy to lose sight of whether it's good or not, and the inspiration is lost, so I'll start something new. I do that all the time, man. You are definitely not alone in that. So what do you do? Are you identifying that as a problem? Or is that something that you're just like, yep, part of the process? Because I think you could look at it any number of ways. Because personally, I find that when I'm listening to actually, I don't really do that as much anymore. Usually I'll make something and then I'll bounce it and then I'll just have it and I'll basically like listen to it when I'm bored. Like I'll listen to it a few times and then I just forget to like touch it up and finish it. And then I just listen to it in that like sort of first session unfinished state for a long time. It is a problem. It's a problem for me for sure. And I don't really know how I'm getting out of it other than just, I'm kind of brute forcing it right now. At least that's my plan for December, is just brute force, just finish a bunch of shit, deal with how tough it is, because I can, and start to like learn that process again. Because I have probably 7 or 8, realistically, there's probably 15 tracks that I could finish, like any day. and I'm just sitting on them, and I gotta fucking figure it out. But going back to what Rumi said, I'm sure this advice has been played out to death, but taking an idea from a song you love, changing the rhythm or flipping the changes around, and then using that as a basis, sometimes that's the best. Dude, that's a great idea. I love doing that. It's like sampling yourself, plundering your own ideas like it's a sample pack or like a sonic library that you can mess with. Yeah, it's a great idea, man. Especially if you're like far enough away from the idea that you can just sort of, you retain your objective view on it rather than, you know what I mean? That's a great idea, man. I do that. I guess I do that fairly often now. After making a few sample packs, I find that like it's really nice to go through unfinished songs that I know I'm not going to finish and just like export all the parts of it that I like, and only the parts of it that I really like. And then just having that in the library for later. Doesn't even have to be like I start something right then. I just like having things in the library. Being able to like go through and be like, oh, let's mess around with this. This is a thing that I made a year ago. Like, cool, you know? Takes a long time to build that up, but that's been my idea recently. Last like 2 years. It's just been fill the vault with sounds that you like. Delphi says, at least it feels that way. I need a better process for keeping things fresh. Well, okay. There's no one answer. Something that my friend Ross Mayfield, amazing producer. I've been working with him very closely. Also a Brooklyn cat, super talented. He also does a lot of like sound design, TV work, like short film scoring, like that kind of stuff. Incredibly talented producer. He started recently. He was like, yeah, I don't bounce anything until I have a like final-ish mix. I force myself to only open Ableton, only listen to the song when Ableton is open. So what that does is it kind of forces you to capitalize on your excitement over something, but it also prevents you from tiring yourself out and losing your sense of objectivity around the song that you're working on. Like if you open it in Ableton or whatever you use, obviously, if you open it and that's like when you listen to it, then you are immediately able to make changes and improve it. At the very least, you keep the ball rolling. It's helped me stay a lot less stuck in the past because you're just not tiring yourself out on it. So I don't know. I'm trying to adhere to that a little bit more, and it's been cool. Treasure says, gotta walk away from it. Same sort of idea. Gotta walk away from it, but make a plan to come back to it later. Maybe set a reminder on your calendar. Like give yourself a week to not listen to it, think about it, let your subconscious work on it in the background, and then come back to it fresh and see where you can take it. Yep. That's super important, man. It's a great idea. If you can build that into a system, come on, man. You're gonna be unstoppable. That's gonna be crazy. Somber says, true. Nazma once said something similar on stream. Sometimes look for a sample similar to what you want to do and work around that. It's easier to work with an already existing idea. That is for fucking sure. And that is why I like sampling. You guy. Sampling is the shit for that. Because you can just start with... That's a lot of times when I've been not making beats for a while, that's what I'll do first. I'll just like flip samples for a while. Just greases the wheels. And you don't really have to think too hard about stuff. It's just like, all right, how does this sound? How does this feel? You can really lock into your intuition that way. That's personally co-sign that idea a lot. I think that's a great idea. Treasure says, reminds me of the Hemingway quote, the best way is always to stop when you are going good and when you know what will happen next. If you do that every day, you'll never be stuck. Bro, oh my God, that's so true. Oh my God, that's awesome. Yeah, I gotta say, so hard to maintain the discipline to do that on a regular basis, but like, wow, I can't tell you how true that is. Every time I've stopped a session because I've been like, yeah, I know what I'm gonna do next, so I'm just gonna like let myself do that tomorrow. Yeah, that's a flow state right there. I'm actually gonna write that down because that's a great reminder. And then you also have the memory, the recency. Wow, every time I lean forward, it gets darker. Having the like recent memory of like, man, the last thing I did on this, I was having fun, is really helpful. Really, really important. That's crazy. Good call, man. I don't know, that resonated with me. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but